Hey guys, back to another YouTube video. Today it's going to be a first testing video. Now normally I don't do videos like this because I just think they're not necessary. But given the cheap this knife is, I'm decided to do this video. And it's this cheap Ridge Runner fake of a freaking buck 120. And those who may remember, my good friend Edward or JJ Jinx got this for me. And I saw this in their Budcake catalog, and I asked him if he could get it for me. In exchange, I'll send him some stuff, and he did. And basically, this knife is probably the cheapest knife I probably will ever own. There's gaps all over it, as I've mentioned in the previous video, and it does not have a good edge. It has a sharp edge, but not a good edge. And I predict two things about what's going to happen to this knife today. Either this is going to break, or this handle's going to break. Either way, it's fine with me because it's a cheap knife, and I'll reuse the parts for whatever's left over. So I'm going to do simple tests that a lot of people do with buck knives. The first is just chopping some simple stuff. Like these are all dead branches I just picked up out of my yard. One, two, three. Well, it's cutting pretty good. Let's go through a few more. Let's do some small ones. Okay. This one's already broken. Get that out of here. So far, it's cutting pretty good. No? Still straight. No wiggling in the handle any. Not bad. Not bad. Let's see how it whittles a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't feather stick that well, that's for sure. I have to freaking put a lot of pressure on it to make it freaking feather stick. And I can already feel the edge starting to get dull. Yeah, it really doesn't chop that well. Alright, now the small stuff out of the way, let's try something bigger. So classic batoning. Anybody who knows buck knives knows these are notoriously good baton knives, but let's see how their knockoff brother holds up. Yep, just as I suspected. And ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why you don't buy a cheap knockoff. And it broke just as the suspected spot I was expecting. Right at the hilt. So that really goes to show, if you buy a cheap ass knife, you're gonna get what you pay for. But still, though, if they produce this and sell it as a good hunting knife or fixed blade or camp knife, don't get it, because obviously you're gonna get this kind of result. But on a plus side note, I am gonna reuse this handle, but I'm not gonna use this wood. I'm just gonna reuse the brass parts, and that's probably it. The blade, on the other hand, I'll probably do something with it. I don't know. But to kind of help salvage this video, I have a couple of other beater knives I'll test out for y'all. This is another knockoff butcher's knife that I did some modifications to. It's got a nice thick blade, and I put a nice convex edge on it. So let's see how it holds up. a good job. Well, I give it some credit. It's holding up pretty well. But the edge dulled really quick. It's not even that sharp. I could probably do this. But that's about it. That's one beater knife tested out. Next is this one that I got. As y'all remember in the previous video, this is a fake 119. Let's try it out. Yeah, I give it some credit. Now let's do some tip tests. Well, tip's still straight as an arrow, so I'll give it that. Yep, still straight as an arrow. So I give this one some credit. It works pretty good, but still doesn't cut as good as the real deals. So overall of the 3 knives, only one broke. So, heck, I still call that a plus. And I guess to give y'all another extra entertainment, I wouldn't call myself a professional at throwing knives, but I know how to throw them pretty well. And since I never filmed it, a friend of mine suggested it, so I set up my old knife throwing target. See if I get the camera. Yes, I did. Scoot it to the side just a little bit. Right there. Now, my knife target is simply just this old board right here that I just hang up and occasionally play with. And I guess the first thing I'll throw real quick is this broken blade. Well, you can still hit it pretty good. Still pretty good, at least to do that with. Now let's try some other ones. Let's try the 119 fake. Yep, that's what happens. Let's try this one. Nice. Let's try this one again. There we go. They throw pretty good. They've not bent yet, so heck, I still call that a plus. This one still isn't bent, so I call that a plus. And then, just for good measure, so, like I said, you buy something cheap, you're going to get what you pay for. But if you buy some stuff, I guess it's not that bad a quality. Like I said, among all these 3, only one broke, so heck. And for $20, heck, I ain't going to burn because of that. Like I said, I'll reuse the handle on this knife, and do something with it. Overall, if you want to see more testing videos of items that I have, happily give me a suggestion, because like I said, this will be the first testing video I did. If you want to see videos of me beating the crap out of cheap old knives, happily put the request in, because again, this is kind of fun for me to do. Get the pieces picked up. So, I guess the only thing that was well made about this knife was the brass and the sheath. And that's a miracle for me to say. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as always, Stay sharp.